How's it going, everybody? Welcome to this whew, last minute but well put together live stream. I am the Uncanny Omar. This is Near Mint Condition, the home of collected editions. To my right is this amazing gentleman from the Epic Marvel podcast, Kurtis. How are you, dude?
I'm doing well. I'm doing very, very well. Thank you for asking, Omar. How are you today?
I think I should be stressing because we are flying out early next week, but I'm not. I'm not yet, right? I'm not there yet.
Right.
My wife, though, Melanie, completely stressing. I'm like, I got
Yeah.
work to do. I got like videos to record and edit. I got a couple more books to finish reading, and probably on Monday night, the right before we leave, I'm gonna be like, oh, that's right, we're going to another country for 15 days. It's time to freak out. So that's how I'm doing. I am running on fumes, my brother. So this was last minute because big thank you, by the way, to David Gabriel and everyone at Marvel for sending us
Yep.
this list, and they did us a solid by just going ahead and picking out some new reprints, and then there are some surprises. We're going to talk a little bit more about that here in a second, but also at the last minute moving things around. So we're going to keep bringing this up, but the schedule is going to be shifted a little bit. When I come back, Kurtis and I will do another video where we talk about the new schedule. Nothing is being canceled, just some things are being moved around because I'm sure most of you heard, but in case you haven't, there's a writer's strike in Hollywood that is affecting the movies and the TV shows and pushing things back. So things have to be moved around. So that is also affecting collected editions, not in the same way like the Hollywood stuff, but in the way that, books now have to be moved around. So here we are. We are going to be talking about a bunch of reprints and some new surprises, some new books that we haven't mentioned yet. And we know of a couple of new books, but they haven't quite given us the covers nor the content yet. So we'll wait on that when we do the pretty much expanded new schedule.
Before we start, can I mention that I got a copy of this? Since we're talking about reprints, I got a copy of the reprint of X-Men: Fate of the Phoenix. This is a reprint of Volume 7 of the X-Men Epic Collections. It has a different colored cover, so if you're looking for that. But one of the problems we had with this one, it was printed by Fry Communications, and they use really thin papers, and you could like see the details of the page on the other side really, really well. I'm happy to say that this book, the reprint, has way better paper, and it's a little thicker in its spine width because of it, and it doesn't have the same. It has a little bit of bleed because all white paper has a little bit, but it's so much better than the first edition. So I know a lot of people were complaining about the quality of this book. So the reprint is something that you might want to upgrade to.
Can you do me a favor? Open up your original printing because I gave mine away. Where was it printed? Fry Communication. I believe that is in Versailles, Kentucky.
Yeah. Fry Communications. And here, if you want to see, you can see it's so thin you can see the all of the stuff on the other side of the paper. So it wasn't great.
Where is the Fry Communications, Kurtis? It should say.
Well, let me tell you. It's in Pennsylvania, Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania.
Okay. I thought it was the one in Kentucky. This one, the new printing is printed in Canada. So what Kurtis is saying is that Canada is superior to America as far as
that's right. Our processes are far superior.
Get the heck out of here. This is how wars get started, buddy. All right. So let's go ahead and have some fun. And it's always important if you are new to the hobby to make sure you get your voice heard by voting every year. Marvel has been wonderful the last, 4 years, almost 5 years that we've been doing this. We do a poll every year where you all vote for your most wanted Marvel Omnibus, and then we also do a poll for most wanted Marvel Epic Collection. So they do honor a lot of these. As a matter of fact, I think last year there was just one book that wasn't reprinted from our poll, and I sent them the top 25, and I may have to this year again. I've sent them the top 20, so yeah. Let's see what made it. Let's see what surprises we have.
Okay.
And bang. Adding it to the stream. Here we go. February of 2024. Go ahead, Curtis.
We can say right off the bat that we don't have any reprints in January 2024. That doesn't mean they're not coming. That's just not on our list. I think they're still making up their minds about those last minute ones there. But so we're going to start in February.
Mm-hmm. All right.
First up is the Daredevil Epic Collection Volume 4, A Woman Called Widow. Definitely one that a lot of people have been asking for. This is the period where Black Widow is a co-star in Daredevil's title.
So
Let's see.
This is where she becomes
this
like
one
too, isn't it?
Pardon me?
This is where she shares a title with Daredevil, isn't it?
Yeah. She actually gets her name on the... No, she doesn't get her name on the actual cover, but she's the main character as well, for sure. This was number 9 in our reprint poll.
Thank you, Curtis, for having that handy.
Yep. Okay, we don't have to go into detail about these epics since we have talked about them in the past, and I think everybody knows, but we can go out. Here's the first surprise of the day. Star Wars Legends Epic Collection Rise of the Sith Volume 1. We're getting a new printing of this one in February. For all of you who have been wanting Star Wars reprints, well, guess what? Here's one for you right here. And this was not on the top 20 list. It's a complete surprise.
Oh, dude. I love when they do this. For a while, it always happens when people think, oh, they're not printing any more Star Wars, they're not printing any more Punisher, they're not printing any, whatever it is, then rumors start flying like, oh, they're done with this line. They're done with the Star Wars Epic line. They're going to focus on Omnis and we'll never get reprints. Well, here we are. It's not the only one either. So,
yeah. Okay, so typically we get just 2 reprints a month, and that's kind of how we're seeing it shape up here. So two in February, we have a couple in March here now, including Spider-Man Epic Collection Volume 5, Secret of the Petrified Tablet. This is great. This is great stuff. The classic Spider-Man era, collecting issues 68 to 85, and Spider-Man Annual 5 and 6.
Do you know where this one was on our reprint poll?
Yes, this was number 1. This was the number 1 pick for our reprint poll.
Congratulations, all the people that wanted it. Oh, Otis is on top of it. Yes.
Yeah,
Otis.
there you go.
So this is a good one in case you missed out on it. And what I always like to stress to people, in case you're new to the hobby and you're just now getting into Epic Collections, the print run on the Epic Collection reprints are always smaller than new printings of new books. And now is a really good time to do to mention this. Yes, rest in peace to a legend, Honor Mead. I believe both Curtis and I, we did a little tribute on our social media. I did a little TikTok thing, but it would not let me import it to YouTube because YouTube, whatever. But yeah, we definitely lost the legend.
We did. So buy this one in his honor.
Great artist, phenomenal artist. Understatement. And Amazing Spider-Man 5 is the reprint that catches Brian up completely. Here's another surprise, right? Or was this one in the poll? I can't remember.
Nope, this one is a surprise too. Star Wars Legends Epic Collection, The Empire, Volume 1. Now, I believe that this one actually has had a reprinting before in the early days of Star Wars. They just gave it they just went back to press for another short run. But this will be a new edition from a new printer. And for all of you who missed out on it the first time,
there you go.
Again, not on our poll. So 2 Star Wars Epic Collections. There's some surprises for you.
And some Star Wars. Now, new printings aren't the only surprises.
That's right. There's some other surprises.
Yeah. So this one, you're saying this one has been printed twice before?
Well, yeah, it's had the original printing, and then I think they went back to press for a short run of it for a second printing shortly after that one sold out, kind of at the beginning. But that was it. It wasn't solicited or anything like that. So that's March. We can move on to April. X-Men Epic Collection Volume 1, Children of the Atom. This one is number 8 in our poll. And just recently, there have been a lot of people asking for this one. just in the last couple of months. So there you go. You're gonna get it.
I third printing, right? I think it's been reprinted once
Yeah,
before.
this one's been reprinted before, so this should be the third. Probably they're going to call it the third edition.
Oh, I'm happy to see a lot of people voted for this one. So
Yeah.
congratulations. If you missed out on it, congratulations, and I'm happy that you get to now get it and put it in that shelf right along your number 2. Why does this bother going out of print? I'm honestly surprised it keeps going out of print. Silver Age.
Well, I mean, so there's a difference. There's a difference between out of print and out of stock. Out of print means we use out of print just anytime anything goes out of stock. But out of print actually means they have no intention of reprinting it ever again. Like it's done.
Yes.
So all of these epics are technically just out of stock because they'll get around to reprinting it eventually.
Well, a new printing to them usually means a new ISBN too.
Yeah,
So it'll be
that's right. So
different.
the old edition, yeah, that's true.
Let me answer this question. I don't know. In case somebody's new, why will the price point be the same as the original printing? Not usually. Curtis, do you have your X-Men handy? Can you? Sometimes they are, but not usually. What's the price of the original?
The original edition is $40. The new edition is 45. So, and that has to do with just, inflation and rising costs of things, but also they're printed by different printers, and those printers may have different prices for their paper and their labor. It just depends on whatever deal Marvel works out with them. So, whatever, the prices unfortunately have to be a little bit different.
Now here's a good time to educate people in case they're not familiar with how this works, because everybody's new at one point. But this is a question I get asked often: why does it go out of stock? Why is it not just perennial at this point?
Right.
Because Marvel and DC, both companies print so much that there's no magical place to store these books that have an infinite amount of room. So a book cannot just sit at a warehouse and waiting for you to make an order through your local comic book shop or Amazon for them to take it out of this warehouse and put it in a box and ship it to you. Books have to come from the printer, put in a distribution center, and that distribution center sends it out to retailers. So there's limited space, right? There's warehouse space, and there's warehouse space in the at the actual printers. So it's a constant motion. It's amazing how much this community has helped out, though. You all vote for things, so now Marvel is more aware of things that are out of print, because at one time they were just kind of reprinting the same thing over and over again, right? Because if you think about it, if it's your job to print a book, oh, it's sold out, cool, I did my job, let's move on to the next project. What do you mean people want this reprinted? That's ridiculous. And they started reprinting, and of course all you reprint is X-Men and Spider-Man and sometimes Star Wars. So it's really cool that we have this relationship now with Marvel where you all vote for what you want reprinted, and they have a better understanding of what the market wants. So that's kind of how it works. And don't feel stupid for ever asking questions like that, because I always thought the same thing. Why don't they just keep these things in print like other books are, like books are, right? Like prose novels are.
And you have to understand also that these are not, they don't sell the same numbers as prose novels. If you talk about whatever, even like the newest, I don't know, all Stephen King's constantly in print because it's selling like gangbuster numbers that are way better than this Epic Collection is selling all the time. And so it's worthwhile to keep them in print. But these ones, they come in waves. They're sometimes popular, sometimes it's not. There are a couple of exceptions, like Watchmen is something that is constantly in print all the time, and it never goes out of stock.
And there's also been a rumor around that one that they have to keep it in stock for renewing the IP purposes. I don't know how much that's true or not, considering it's DC that first I don't know. But yeah, there are a couple of books that do make their rounds as stealth reprints all the time. I think Marvel's getting better at it too, with things like Wolverine coming back to stealth reprint. But Epic Collections and Omnibus Editions are kind of like and I'm sorry, in Marvel Masterworks, they're kind of like your high tier of collected editions. Those require an extra push to get reprinted. I hope that answers some questions and kind of clarifies why things aren't in stock at all times. Because it is
I think the
frustrating
biggest
to
thing
come
is
into a hobby, no matter what hobby it is, whether you're collecting toys or video games, and you get into the hobby with a volume 3 and you're waiting for volumes 1 and 2 forever. So I understand the frustration. Go ahead, Curtis. I didn't mean to cut you off, man.
I just think that the biggest thing is the space issues, though, because you'd have to have numerous, like, you see how many new graphic novels or collected editions Marvel prints on a monthly basis, and just the omnis themselves, how many are those, like 2 a month, and then you can imagine the skids and skids of just one type of omni that they have to store, and then we're talking about two a month. That's just so much space. And they don't move as fast as they want them to create more room. So, okay, let's keep on going here.
Yes, but that was an excellent question. I think it was a good time to mention that again, because there's always new readers and new collectors to this hobby.
Okay, here we go. Star Wars Legends Epic Collection, The New Republic, Volume 1, coming in April. This one's been out of stock for a long time, and it is on our list. It is number 10.
So you all voted for this.
The top 10. That's right. So we are happy to see that's 3 Star Wars reprints coming in the next year. So that's wonderful. We are making some progress here. Marvel's listening to us.
Really quick, there's my buddy Doug. Doug, by the way, huge shout out to Doug. He's he has sold his collection so many times, but it's never like to go and collect anything else. It's always because he's got such a huge heart. He donates a lot of his money and takes in a lot of stray animals. And I thought I had announced, didn't we announce Under Siege? Isn't that coming back to print? I can't remember. I'm so out of all I kept doing this last 2 weeks is reading and editing and filming. Whew. So many Star Wars reprints. Thank the maker.
I don't see Avengers on our list here. Yeah, we haven't announced an Avengers reprint for that one, Under Siege. No. But it is on our top 20 list, I think. It's number 19 on the list, so maybe it'll come later on in the year. Okay. Moving on. We are now into May of 2024 with Captain America Volume 3, Bucky Reborn.
Yeah, so happy to have this one. I know a lot of you all have been wanting early Captain America stuff, and we're kind of concerned that they were focusing on later stuff, reprints, because those usually get the most love and most votes. But this one made it on the list high enough that there you go. Do complete collections get reprinted? They are kind of doing away with that line, the complete collection line, and that is now being replaced by the modern Epic Collection line. So it's kind of a yes and no answer.
Yes and no.
Because yes, they do get reprinted, but there will be a rebranding. They will be called the modern Epic Collection line, which I think we may have 1 or 2 in here. We shall see. But
okay,
yes.
So in the comments, it's actually Star Wars Legends Epic Collection New Republic Volume 4 that was number 10 on our reprint poll. Number 1 wasn't on the reprint poll at all.
Oh, okay.
But it's still out of print, and it still was one that people wanted. Just
Curtis,
they wanted to start with number 1.
Let's strike 1, Curtis.
Okay.
2 more. Come on. Let's strike 1, buddy.
Okay, here we go. You ready?
Yeah. Let's do it.
Daredevil Epic Collection Volume 18, Fall from Grace. That seminal Daredevil story, Fall from Grace. This is an old epic. It's the first Daredevil epic to be released, and in fact, when this one was announced, it wasn't an epic collection. They were just going to release a Fall from Grace trade paperback. And this was
expanding the line.
Yeah, then they decided to make it. It was the first Epic Collection, new Epic Collection line to be introduced.
I I know this is an era where people are like, "Oh, Daredevil's edgy and this sucks." I love this stuff. DG Curtis, Chichester,
Chichester.
Chichester. Thank you so much.
Chichester.
Scott McDaniel on artwork. Oh my! I actually love the Fall from Grace story. I thought it was great, and I didn't see a lot of people's issues with it, and it led to the Elektra Root of Evil miniseries. So yeah, I'm very excited for the people that have been wanting this one. It went out of print a long time ago, and now it's coming back to print. This was number 5 on the poll.
That's right, number 5. And then next we have another one in what are we in May? We have 4 reprints in May actually. This is number 3, Spider-Man Volume 19, Assassination.
Yeah, this is the Todd McFarlane era. For people not familiar with this, the assassination storyline, that plot storyline was 6 issues long, and Todd McFarlane did 5 of them, and then Eric Larson for an issue. And it's got the Marvel graphic novels, The Amazing Spider-Man Parallel Lives. So if you own the omnibus of the Todd McFarlane and David Michelinie omnibus, Parallel Lives is not included in that omnibus. So this is more complete.
That's right. This is number 2 on the poll.
Wow. Awesome. Love seeing that.
Yep. And the last one for May, Star Wars Legends Epic Collection, The Old Republic Volume 1.
Was this on the poll?
This one actually was on the poll. This one's number 17. This is the Star Wars Epic Collection that has been asked for the most since the line started. And because it went out of stock quick, and I don't know, people really, really want it. So here it is. It's back for you. It was in omnibus form just before this, and now it's back in Epic Collection form.
Yes, people were worried that the omnibus came out and that they lost out on getting this book in any kind of edition. Well, the omnibus is also out of print too. But I love that this is coming back to print, because a lot of people, again, start the whole rumors of like, oh no, they're done with Star Wars and Epic Collection. They're moving over to Omnis. This is the long forgotten line. And now we're back. Look at all these 4 Star Wars Epic Collection.
4 Star Wars. Yep.
Which we didn't get any last year, but here we are with 4. So this is awesome.
I think that you don't jump on it. Don't wait to jump on this, because, like we said, the print runs are going to be smaller than the original runs, and so hopefully you all will be able to get a copy of it. But I wouldn't wait. I would probably pre-order it. Oh, and also pre-ordering helps determine the size of the print run that Marvel, because Marvel looks at all the pre-orders and bases their print run on that number. They'll say, we've got X number of pre-orders, so we'll add this many more to that, and that's our print run.
So that's why we always stress the idea of pre-ordering. So yeah, this one's coming out in May of 2024. Crazy we're looking ahead that far, but that's just the way it is these days. And a lot of people are really happy for it. That's awesome.
Okay, now we're going to move into June with Avengers Epic Collection Volume 1, Earth's Mightiest Heroes, another one that a lot of people have been asking for. This one just squeaked in at number 20 on the poll, but it is an important book, so I'm glad that it's coming back to print.
Yep. The Omnis are coming back to print this year, 1 through 4, and then we're getting a Volume 5. But if the Epic Collections are more your way of collecting books, then have at it. Here we go. You just have to wait a year. That's it. Just a year. But you've been waiting this long anyway, right? And then yeah.
This one has been reprinted before as well, so it's back again. Yeah, it was out of print. Yep.
That's right. And if you live in the US, Cheap Graphic Novels does have pre-order options for US customers. So keep that in mind.
There you go.
So as soon as these hit the solicits, or they can order it, make sure you lock your copy in. And that's the start of June.
The start of June. Here's the next part of June. X-Men Epic Collection Volume 12, The Gift. This was
another one
of the first X-Men Epic Collections. Yeah, a lot of people have been asking for this one too. Let's see, it made
for years.
Number 11 on the poll. Number 11.
So with this one, this again shows you that it doesn't matter that they're releasing an omnibus of this era, because here's the epic, right? Because the Uncanny Volume 5 omnibus collects some of the stuff in here, like the Nightcrawler series, and then 194 to 198. So this is the epic version of some of those stories, and long out of print. Happy to have it back in there again.
So, hey Omar, where are the masterworks in the X-Men reprints right now? They're just covering this material, right?
No,
Or
we
have they
are.
passed it now?
Yeah, we are in Fall of the Mutants.
Okay. So I'm oh um
So I'm sorry,
yeah,
Fall of the
so I'm
Mutants is like 227, around that era.
so this material, when this gets reprinted, it might have the masterworks material, because this book came out 10 years ago before, and it was before this material was in the masterworks. So this new printing may have updated files.
Yeah, because they've done that in the past. They've done it with the Fantastic Four Epic Collection, where they use the new masters from the Omnibus edition. So they may do that. Has X-Men and Alpha Flight 1 and 2 been collected in Omni format? Yes, that's in Omnibus Volume 4. And then the Asgardian War, which is kind of the follow-up to that story, was in Omnibus Volume 5. My original copy, my dog peed on it. Well, now it's time to replace it, Jake. Get that stinky thing off your shelf. Yeah, this one's
Wow.
really cool. I remember somebody mentioned that this one might have been out of print for 10 years, which is crazy.
I don't know. Well, it came out 10 years ago, and so I don't know. It didn't go out of print right away. It took a little bit to go out of print, but it has been out of print for a while.
Mm-hmm. I remember it came around right after Ghost was released, I think. And I was hoping, they should have done Ghost as an Epic Collection then, because we didn't have that stuff in omnibus format then. So, and yeah, let's keep going.
Okay, now we're into our last month here. Amazing Spider-Man Epic Collection Volume 21, Return of the Sinister Six. This is number 3 on the poll. The top 3 choices were all Spider-Man, and they're all in this round of announcements here.
So, collecting issues 334 to 350, one of my favorite stories is collected in here. The Return of the Sinister Six, which is the title of this Epic Collection. All of it done by Eric Larson. If you have the omnibus is also missing Spirits of the Earth, the original graphic novel, because it wasn't done by Eric Larson. So, and Charles Vess artwork in that, if you haven't read it, holy crap, it's so good.
Yeah. Vess is amazing.
Yes.
With this announcement, I think that pretty much all of the Spider-Man epics, except for the ones that have come out in the past 2 years or so, maybe 3 years, have been reprinted. Like Spider-Man has gotten so much love in the reprints. I think all of them have been reprinted except for the most recent released volumes.
Cosmic Adventure, that just had a new printing, didn't it? Yeah, I think
a few years ago.
I think X-Men is probably second to how many reprints it's had, but Spider-Man gets a lot of love in Epic Collection.
It does. Yeah. Okay, another one here. Fantastic Four Epic Collection Volume 20, Into the Time Stream, the Walter Simonson era.
Yeah, some great stories in here. He had a short run on the Fantastic Four, but still some solid stories. And of course, it has Days of Future Present as the crossover with New Mutants Annual 6, X Factor Annual 5, and then X-Men Annual number 14, which is kind of like the follow-up to Days of Future Past. And it has Ahab as the villain. I dig it. I love that story.
I think this one is timed. When is Loki season 2 come out?
Woo! I think
that's been 2024. It's been pushed.
I think it was delayed until next year. Yeah, number 14. I think
that's right. Yeah, I think this one is placed here to time with that, since it heavily features the TVA.
Oh yes, and I love that the agent is based on Mark Grunwald. And it's interesting
Yep.
to see Luke Wilson play that character too.
It's a great casting. Okay, I think we have one more here. Silver Surfer Epic Collection Volume 3 Freedom, the beginning of the 1980s Silver Surfer series by Englehart and Marshall Rogers.
I love to see this one too. This is because whenever we do these, we always see like, oh, there's too many X-Men, there's too many Spider-Man, and now we were seeing there's too many Star Wars. But then there's things like this that get reprinted that you all voted. What was this one on the reprint poll?
This one is number 7.
Awesome. Yeah. This was this one of the earlier ones too?
This was the first was it the
I
first
thought
Silver Surfer, or was it number 1 was the first Silver Surfer? This was one.
was the first one.
Yeah, I think this is the second Silver Surfer Epic Collection. Pretty early on in the line. It's been out of print for a while.
So happy to see this back. And for anybody that missed it, yeah. So it looks like Loki slated for October 2023. So
okay, so
and
they're missing the boat a little bit on that.
First Epic Collection.
It is the first Silver Surfer. Okay, there you go. Yeah, I couldn't remember if this one
Awesome.
came out before Volume 1 or not. Well, I hope that concludes all of the. Oh. Yeah, it was reprinted. If it was a few years ago at this point. Yeah,
it was because that one came and went. The first printing came and went, and when it was reprinted, it stayed out there a little bit longer.
Yeah, I'm not sure when it was. I think it was in 2021 that it was reprinted.
Oh, okay.
It's been a little while.
Okay, hold on a second. Here's something from Alex. Okay, noob question. Does the fact that something is collected in Epic announces a potential omnibus? No, that's never been the case. They are kind of two separate lines. Yeah, sometimes it would be cool to get some of this stuff in omnibus format, of course, and vice versa. But we have seen releases very close of certain books that Marvel has done in omnibus format, and then they started doing the Epic Collection. Kurtis so far has one up on me with that Ghost Rider Epic Collection. We don't have an omnibus of Danny Ketch nor the Johnny Blaze era, but they're getting some love in Epic Collection, so that's good. And yes, that is such a good book. It starts the seeds of the Infinity Gems. Thank you for calling them gems, not stones.
Because the Infinity Gems, that story starts in the Marvel 2-in-1 annual with Adam Warlock and Thanos.
Mm-hmm.
All of the soul gems combined into one big soul gem, and then the results of that kind of that story carries through over to this one right here, into this volume.
No modern era epics this go around. Well, we do have a couple of surprises. This is the reprints right now.
This is just reprints. These are all reprints, and so seeing as there's only one modern era out right now, there's no modern era reprints coming out.
And thank you for the reminder. Make sure to smash that like button, everyone. I do appreciate that, Ryan. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Woo! My Epic Collection has overgrown my Epic Collection shelf. First world.
No.
Let me hold on one second here. This is a good question. Then we'll look at the new books. Hey, Omar and Kurtis, since Marvel bases their print runs on pre-orders, how long are FOCs? Usually weeks or months? Thanks for all you to do. That's always been an interesting question because you have the book market and then you have the direct market, which is like local comic book stores or cheapgraphicnovels.com or Walt's Comic Shop, In Stock Trades, those places that follow the FOC. I want to say it's about a month or so that a window is open, at least from working at comic book stores when I used to work there. It's about a month and a week sometimes where they open up the FOC for people to put orders in from the solicited.
That's just for shipping. Because the books have to be at the printer months before that.
Oh
So they
yes, yes.
already have to make up their mind on what the pre-order what their print run is going to be well before the final order cutoff date. So the pre-orders, get your pre-orders in early if you want to be part of the influence of the print run. But yeah, it takes months for the books to be printed, and like maybe 2-3 months, but not just printed, but like assembled and everything like that. They have to do all of the work to get them, and then they package them
Mhm.
up and ship them out. And so the final order cutoff date is so that they know how many to ship to Diamond, so that Diamond can ship it to their stores and that kind of stuff.
And I'm not gonna say any names of publishers, but I've seen publishers do a FOC in a pre-order window of a week, and
Yeah.
retailers are like, "What?" Like I said, I'm gonna leave names out, but what the heck? FOC for single issues tends to be around 3 to 4 weeks before the arrival date. Um, oh, thank you so much, Ryan. Thank you so much. You're my favorite channel on YouTube. I really appreciate that. Fall of Asgard is number 15 on the list, so very good chance of a reprint coming in 2024. That
I'm
is a
pretty sure that
good
we'll
one.
see the rest of that list. The rest of that list will fill out the remaining months in this year, but they haven't decided the order of that yet. So we'll have to wait and see.
And for trade paperbacks, hardcovers, and others tend to be from 1 to 2 months. Thank you for that, Arturo. All right, Curtis, let's go ahead and look at these surprises. Oh, sorry. Before we do, thank you, Curtis. Oh, by the way, I should have done this earlier. A big thank you to Curtis for helping me put this together. I sent him the info, just didn't have any time to help with this, so he did this by himself. So big thank you to him for doing this slideshow. So
Not a problem. I'm happy to do it.
this catches
This is
you
our
up. I'm
list.
going to talk a little bit more in detail, but go ahead, Curtis.
So like we said, we have nothing in January, but we have 4 in May, so it kind of makes up for it. So the numbers are still roughly 2 a month. They're just spread out a little bit differently. But yeah, that's your slate for 2024 so far for the Epic collections. It's a pretty good lineup, and
Really good.
like we
Let's
said,
not take
all of it,
consideration of new
it
books either.
yeah, all of it is from that top 20 list, except for the 3 Star Wars ones, which also people want. So it's perfect. It's a great lineup.
Absolutely.
But
But wait,
wait,
you went with
there's
that.
more. So, like we said, the movie schedule, because the movies are because Marvel likes to have the corporate synergy, the media tie-ins. They base a lot of the books that they're releasing on what's happening in the movie world. And so since the movie schedule changed so drastically recently, Marvel went back and retooled their schedule. And so we're going to see a lot of movement in the schedule, a lot of books being shifted to different months or different times. We don't know exactly what that's going to look like quite yet, but we did get news on a few books that they are inserting into the schedule. The
Mhm.
first one being
Oh gosh, that
Spider
makes me
Girl.
so happy to see this book.
Yeah,
Really quick, let me take that off here. Spider Girl Modern Era Epic Collection. So this is the Tom DeFalco and Steve Oliff stuff, and then Ron Friends eventually, but collecting her first appearance. It was the remaining, or I think it was the only M2 title that kind of carried on
did anything.
and did
Yeah.
anything. Yeah. So it makes me very happy they are rebranding it. It's not a forgotten character for people that were worried are they ever going to finish the complete collections. Well, that's a yes and no answer then. Yes, they will, but they will be rebranded as Modern Era Epic Collections. This one made me really happy when David was telling me about adding it to the schedule, and I was like, oh yes, what a freaking awesome character. I love it. So yeah, I'm very happy. You see Juggernaut there too in the background.
Yeah.
Little Juggernaut love from that M2. I don't think anybody else stuck around. Thank you, Nick. I really appreciate that. For the super chat, New Warriors Forever. Thanks for all your hard work, everyone. Thank you so much for the super chat. Curtis only made one mistake. Well, we'll let it
Well,
slide.
we've got a little bit of time here. So 2 comments on this. One is that I personally, I think they should have started with volume 4, since that would have been the last volume that, like, the complete collections didn't make it that far. Um, that would be I think the end of the series. So it would have been nice to just kind of, if for people to close that gap. But also, this movie, or the movie that just came out, into this Across the Spider-Verse, features Mayday Parker. She has a little cameo in there.
Uh,
So as a baby, so I think
we,
that's partly why they're putting that on the schedule here, because she's been getting a lot of talk about her character in social media.
so
And
Curtis,
yeah, go ahead.
did you mean 5?
Oh,
Because I think it made it to 4, didn't it?
did we make it to 4? Okay, so I meant 5. Whatever the last volume is that they haven't done yet in the complete collection to tie up that series. It would have it would have mismatching spines, of course, but you'd have the content.
Well, here's the thing. Like I see it as, for people that missed out on it because the first book is out of print, that doing it as a volume 1 is a good place to start. So
Yeah.
it printing it at volume 4 as the first modern epic collection for this series, you're looking at the tail end of the series. But I think it was better to do it from volume 1 because you're getting new people that are collecting modern epics, or people that are continuing epic lines that are getting everything Spider-Man, and they're going to jump in on that volume 1. Starting it
Yeah.
with a volume 4 would have been a tougher sell, I think, even though they're epics, right? And we all know they keep the volume number on the very back. But yeah, I'm happy with this one. I'm glad that they decided to reprint it as a volume 1. The volume 1
Yep,
complete
and
edition
it's
is out of print.
long out of print. Volume 1 was also a quad graphics book, and so the production
Oh,
on that one was a little shoddy.
yes. But I'm not going to count that as a mistake there, Curtis. That's not a mistake. You're still on 2. You get 1 more.
Okay. Um, it's interesting they're calling this one a modern era epic collection, even though it starts in 1998, which, yes, it is post Onslaught, but still feels like kind of a classic era book with classic creators.
Maybe it's the angle of, hey, it's this possible future. But then again, then would
Yeah.
Spider-Man 2099 be a modern epic collection if we're looking at it from that angle?
I don't know. But anyway,
Regardless,
there you go. That's what
I'm
it is.
happy it's coming out.
Yep.
Is this mainline 616? No, this is oh my gosh, I can't even remember. I'm sure somebody in the chat will know right away. The Earth where she's from, but it's the M2 Earth. It's the
Yeah.
Marvel 2 universe. So it's like Juggernaut and Spider-Girl and a couple of other Thor. Thor was a character too. The DeFalco verse. I guess that's what it was called. Please don't tell me that a 1998 book is a classic. Oh, Kal-El, we got some bad news for you.
Yeah. Okay,
Wait,
next one.
hold, just 1 second.
Oh,
Are we getting a reprint of Daredevil 18 and also 19 Root of Evil? I think you skipped 19 in the read through.
we're not getting 19. No.
Yes, that book has been moved into another date as of now. Avengers is what's taking its place. Never read Spider-Girl
Wait.
before. You're in for a treat if you've never read it. So,
Oh,
Captain
there you go.
America.
You got the Earth 982. The Watcher has a comment for you. It's the Spider Girl.
Oh,
You
thank
see
you.
the comment there?
Earth 983 or Earth 982. It's the MC2. That's what it was called. Thank you.
Yeah.
David corrected me
Okay.
on that one. It's not M2. So, this is the beginning of what we thought was going to be anyway, but Captain America Modern Epic Era. Edward
Yeah,
Ricker.
we already talked about Volume 2, but here now they've decided to put Volume 1 on the schedule as well, coming in June 2024.
So this is the one that kicks off the modern era. I guess the Marvel Knight stuff would be the last stuff that would be Epic Collection.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep, I think so.
And there you have it. Do you have a favorite Hulk? Yes. Bruce Banner.
Bruce Banner.
Peter David era. Peter David era.
Okay. Well, there's a good comment from MD Masumrana Dewan. It
This is
says,
the
"Is this
first non.
this is the
Oh,
first non 616 epic?" Which is not, because Spider Girl is, or Spider Gwen is the first non 616 epic.
she cheats a little bit though, because she crosses into the 616 universe a lot. But yes, that is
Right.
true. That is right. That this would be the second non 616 until they do a Ultimate Universe Epic Collection.
Or 2099.
Mm-hmm. Well, with this book,
Yeah.
we will suppose that the classic era continues with Captain America Volume 3, 1998 to 2002. Yes, the Mark Waid relaunch of the series. Yeah, which they were releasing in complete collections too. Right. Kane, what's up? Welcome. Where's my Sleepwalker epic? Same place my Darkhawk epic is.
In bed still.
Out in the nether realm. No Nth Man this time. Nth Man would just take one. Nth Man.
Okay, we have one more.
One more.
We got one more book to talk about. Should we talk about it?
Hold on just one second. To clarify, Daredevil 19 was a mistake. It's supposed to be Avengers #1 in there.
Oh yeah, you're right. I forgot to change that list.
They were moving things around. Whoops. And the
That's
final one.
3.
Yeah,
I'm out of here.
That's it for Kurtis. It's solo Omar show now. Sorry guys, I'm all you got. He had 3 strikes. I gave him plenty of chances. All right, let's go ahead and announce the last book. Kurt. It is the last book, right? 3, because we do have another book they just did this morning, but there are no covers and content, so you'll have to come back for that one.
Yep.
All right, last book. Here we go.
New X-Men Modern Era Epic Collection Volume 1. E is for Extinction. This is the Grant Morrison.
Yeah. This is the era that brought me back to comics. So I'm very happy to have this. So this also, I think this answers a lot of questions here too, that this is the answer, right? This is where the modern epic line began. But the way the books will be collected are going to be really interesting, because if this is modern epic for New X-Men, there will probably be an astonishing modern epic run, and then Uncanny X-Men modern epic run, and oh my gosh, I think
probably starting at the same time.
Chuck
Austin. Yeah, probably starting in the same era.
Because we're used to the wonderful mapping of X-Men and Uncanny X-Men in the X-Men epics, and they were doing a great job, because at that time X-Men, one book affected the other. So it makes sense. By this time, the teams were kind of split up. Even the creative teams weren't really talking to each other. Grant Morrison, they were doing their own thing. So I thought, okay, if we get into this era, would I really want to sit and read E is for Extinction, the 6th issue that kicks off the Grant Morrison era, and then stop to read about X-Men versus Werewolves, Chuck Austin's run, and then come back to this? How would that work? So it is split up, because then also during this era we get Extreme X-Men. So Extreme X-Men is another line that starts during this era. So I think we're gonna see kind of a branch off of X-Men. It will stop being just one line and branch off into the other lines. Yeah.
That means, though, if they keep the classic era X-Men epic collections going with combined Uncanny and Volume 2 X-Men together, all the way up to this point, we're going to get up into like Volume 40 of X-Men classic epic collections. I did a brief mapping based on the previous thick trades that they released through that era, and there's a lot. It's just like, it's ridiculous.
Well, yeah, because they were, I mean, every 6 months they were having a crossover. So it makes sense that now is the time to split it up. Now would be the time to split it up. Uncanny might be the title that goes the longest with volume numbers in the
I
classic.
can't. Yeah, I can't remember exactly what I got up to. It was definitely
Dude,
like 40 or something.
dude, you're talking at least 40 because you're going
Yeah,
past the Apocalypse of 12, Eve of Destruction. Yeah, you're
yeah.
talking at least 40 volumes of Uncanny X-Men. Wow, that's awesome. Well, I'm an uncanny guy, so. Oh. Do you think modern epics will sell less than classic ones since so many stories already have omnis? I don't think that hasn't been the case with people that collect epics with classic epics and people that collect classic omnis. No, I think they're just two different beasts, honestly.
But I mean, he does have a point. There are the modern era epic collections will be a harder sell simply because everything in the modern era has already automatically been collected into different collections. So
Hmm.
it's
Oh,
whereas
Matthew,
the classic era that wasn't necessarily the case.
Matthew's bringing up a good point. Amazing Spider-Man could also go past 40 volumes if the modern era starts with JMS. Yeah.
It's true. Yeah, I don't think they'll get quite up to 40, but it'll get close for sure. No, actually, they're already 27. They're already 27 with Clone Saga. If they do all the Clone Saga and all Ben Riley, yeah, it would probably get up over 40 as well.
Uh, yeah, Spidey and X-Men. Because we have the beginning of Captain America, so we kind of know where that's gonna end too. Yeah, but volume 40, I don't have enough space for that. So X-Men Epic line ends at Eve of Destruction. I dig it. Yeah, Eve of Destruction would be the last of the X-Men classic epics until we get there, and then they rebrand everything, and then this becomes classic epics in 10 years time.
Oh man, that just seems
It's getting
ridiculous.
old. It's getting old.
Man, I'm trying to find that list that I made here. Oh, here we go. Yeah, okay. So I calculated that we would get up to volume Dreams End and Eve of Destruction would be volume 45 of
Yeah, I was gonna say.
X-Men Epic Collection.
Now they are. I mean, they have made them bigger too, though. Like a lot of these X-Men, and keep in mind, you're looking at two lines, though. It's not just one line with X-Men. It's not like Avengers and New Avengers, although I think that's being handled a little bit differently. It's when they start
Yeah.
branching off. But X-Men, Uncanny, and X-Men being one line will make that line longer. And keep in mind too, if you're getting the complete collections, they have changed the mapping on some of these too. So it's not just a straight up mapping of a complete collection.
Right.
You X-Men, please don't say that. Don't say that, Mario. It's still classic.
Yeah.
When does the
Wow.
modern Spider-Man modern epic starts for Spidey? I think a lot of us have thought that it would be the JMS era.
Yeah. We don't know for sure. They
We don't
haven't
know for
told
sure
us.
though.
Yeah.
I want to give you both a kiss. Tell David Gabriel I'm giving him a kiss too. I will let him know. I know he's been watching, so I will let him know in case he didn't hear that. Thank you for that. So let's go back to the beginning and talk about what we're most excited about and what surprises we have to announce when I come back, or give a little hint as to what surprises we have when I come back.
Do you want to see this list?
Yeah, let's look at this list with the exception of the Root of Evil that's been replaced by Avengers Volume 1.
That's right.
Daredevil 4, Woman Called Widow, Star Wars Rise of the Sith, Spider-Man 5, Secret of the Petrified Tablet, Star Wars Empire 1, X-Men Children of the Atom, Star Wars New Republic 1. Star Wars getting a lot of love. Heck yes. Captain America Bucky Reborn, that's Volume 3 of the classic Cap. Daredevil Volume 18, Fall from Grace. Spider-Man number 19, Assassination. Star Wars Old Republic and Avengers Volume 1. X-Men 12, The Gift, Spider-Man 21, The Return of the Sinister Six, Fantastic Four number 20, Into the Time Stream, and Silver Surfer Volume 3, Freedom. Oh, thank you for all the hugs and kisses, you guys. We skipped Spider-Man number 16. No, we didn't. That's bait, Marcelo. That's bait. One day you'll get it. And then what will you ask for? It'll be funny one day when we're doing this 10 years from now or 20 years from now. People are like, where's Amazing Spider-Man number 86? What are you most excited for these reprints? I know you've been collecting for a long time, but did you miss out on any?
I didn't miss out on any. Initially I didn't buy the Star Wars ones, but then I decided at some point that I did want to, and at the time that I decided I wanted to, it wasn't impossible to find them all, so I was able to track down the ones I was missing. So personally, I'm thrilled that the Star Wars that the Star Wars reprints are coming. I think that's absolutely fantastic. And then also happy that happy that we get so much Spider-Man love. Just honestly, the fact that we have all of these that were voted on in the poll is just great for the fans. I love it. I love that Marvel is paying attention and that they're working with us to get things done. I think it's great.
I think it is wonderful, and it's great to have a relationship with somebody that listens. Instead of, because I know that feeling of how long am I going to have to wait for this book to come back to print, and because I need it in my collection or whatever it is that you collect, right? Toys or video games, as I've said, you're missing a certain volume or a certain part, and it feels like you're not complete. So it's wonderful that there's a chance and that your voices are being heard. So yeah. How much of the top 20 do we have on this particular list? Phil Owens waiting for that Venom Epic Collection.
8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 books out of 20 are on this list.
And like I said, if they needed more than the top 20, I'll be happy to send the next 5, because that's what I did last year. I sent the top 25 last year, and out of the top 25, there was one that didn't make it, which I believe it was a Star Wars book, if I'm not mistaken. Just made it now, and I got to start from the beginning before I get spoiled. Go start at the beginning, Zach. Thank you for watching.
Just don't look at the thing we have up right now.
Which has one mistake anyway. That's okay. Spider-Girl, but for the prospect of a Volume 5 plus the modern Captain America. Is the new X-Men main line, or is just Uncanny and adjectiveless? I think they'll have their own. I think so. New X-Men will just be New X-Men. Uncanny will be modern Uncanny. Again, that will be the Chuck Austin era.
So at this point, New X-Men is the adjectiveless X-Men. Yeah, they changed the name with issue 114. They changed the name to New X-Men. So when we get a modern era Uncanny X-Men Epic Collection, it won't have adjectiveless X-Men because it's New X-Men. It has its own line.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so when Grant Morrison came on board, they were like, well, of course, we'll retitle it. It's Grant Morrison. Do you think they'll do Krakoa era in thick trades? I think once that era is over, they will. I think we'll probably get some Omnis, and then we'll do some thick trades. When would Iron Man Epic start? I think we said the Extremis, right? Like those first issues would be the beginning of the modern era.
Yep.
I'll be dead before they collect all Spider-Man epics. Negative Ghost Rider, I think all of us will. Because Spider-Man continues. Spider-Man will outlive all of us, which is such a sad thing. And they'll continue with Epic until the next generation and the next generation. So I do see your point. Daredevil 18 and Fantastic Four number 20, and maybe Silver Surfer. Names of X titles swap quite a lot. Then a lot of renumbering and retitling later. Yes.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, I would love to sit there and map out that, like, starting with this era of X-Men when they're doing their own thing, and then they said, okay, no more doing your own thing. We're gonna have crossovers again with this Messiah complex. I would love to map out that stuff. That would be so fun. because it's like decisions. How much of this do you put in there? How much of Cable do we really need in this book? Oh, Spider-Girl epics will seem
So
like I will start buying epics now. Hey now. Do event
starting it
this is
should
an
have started a long time ago.
this is an excellent question. Do event books fit well in between epics? It's it's hard like
Depends.
to talk about like if they fit in good. Most of the time they give you a quick recap, like with Secret Wars. I think Secret Wars is an excellent example because Secret Wars is a little bit different too, because even though it took place a year and the titles jumped ahead a year, it was just like a month between the previous issue and the next issue. I'm
Yeah.
trying to think of something big, like a big event that you would have to have in an epic collection for it to make sense, right? We outside of like the X-Men events that only X-Men are involved in, or Spider-Man events that only Spider-Man
Well,
are involved in.
yeah, it's hard to say. The like Infinity Gauntlet, for instance, you can't just slot that in between any epics because those tie-in issues just kind of they're just like in the middle of the book. And especially with the Silver Surfer book that's called the Infinity Gauntlet, that title went bi-monthly or bi-weekly. That title went bi-weekly when Infinity Gauntlet was out. So there were like 12 issues of Infinity Gauntlet tie-ins for Silver Surfer, and you have to read like 2 issues of Silver Surfer, then 1 chapter of Infinity Gauntlet, then 2 issues of Silver Surfer, and it doesn't quite line up the way you want
Mhm.
it to.
I think it's in later on, maybe, where you have big events that I don't know. I can't think of an event, not even like things like House of M or Secret Invasion, that need to be in there. So it's truly amazing that we're having so many epics. Good Lord, it was hard to find any comics in a row when I was a kid. This is a blessing for us to collect this stuff when we
No
were kids.
kidding.
I'm serious.
Yep.
Great reading orders. So what was the book that you're most excited for, Curtis?
Well, I think for the sake, I mean, Spider Girl, I think is my number
Yeah,
one pick
same.
because I didn't actually buy those complete collections for whatever reason. I think because the first one was quad, I just didn't jump on it at all. Um, so I'm excited that that one's coming out. I have the other material in collected edition already of the other two, but I am just excited for the Star Wars reprints to be starting, just in general.
I'm excited for all the people that voted for all these books and are getting 12 of their votes in there, or 12 of the books in there. And yeah, for me, it's Spider Girl. Even though I already have the complete collection, yeah, give it to me and finish it out, please. Because I hate when things get discontinued and unfinished. Just leaves an emptiness in me. But so I'm glad that it's coming out. And yeah, I like to know what people are most excited for. See, Civil War, I don't even like. Even Civil War doesn't fit in that well. Like heroes fought, but
No.
that's it. It's like that's a little bit of a spoiler, but even in the issues of like Captain America, you really don't need to have read it. So
That one provides context. I mean, so the New Avengers by Brian Michael Bendis
mhm.
has like the Civil War issues in it, and all it is like Captain America going around to different heroes saying, "Hey, you want to join up with me?" And like, well, and then they explain it, but like, wouldn't it have been great to actually see the issues as to why there's a conflict?
Yes, but that's and I think it's that mentality of like that's why you go and buy that book, right? I mean, if you look
Right.
at the way
Yeah.
that both companies have reprinted stories from single issues, it's not like Infinite Crisis. Almost called it Infinity Crisis. Infinite Crisis, like that event wasn't collected in any trade paperbacks of Superman or Batman or Wonder Woman. That's the
Yeah.
event. That's what you get. So to get the
Right.
event, you go out and buy the event trade paperback or the omnibus if you want everything. So that's the way they've always done this thing. Bromar, any chance we can add 2 Spidey graphic novels to Bagley? What I'm doing when I come back from Japan on July 9th, I'm gonna go live at 1 p.m. I'm gonna see if my buddy Peter wants to join me. If not, I'll see if somebody else wants to join me, so I can start taking notes as to, like, suggestions what you all wanted. I can keep just a list of everything that people want added and things like that to Omni. So please keep that in mind.
The problem with the Omnis though is that they are labeled. This is the Spider-Man I'm Omni by McElhinney and Bagley, and Soul of the Hunter and Fear Itself are not by either of those creators.
Correct. So that could be the problem, that could be the no. And it's sometimes they say yes, and sometimes they say no. Siege or War of the Realms, I'd say okay. Yes for War of the Realms. Siege, they did add it to the JMS omnibus or the Gillen omnibus, so I don't know. Those might be different. Omar, don't even look at the Peter David section. No, I look at that all the time and I cry. Muppet Babies Epic Collections.
Yes, please.
Bucky Reborn is going for $997. Not anymore.
Oh boy.
I will be back tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with Amanda to review the Flash movie, by the way, for people that are asking. Thank you so much for asking, Mario. Japan, do you think Marvel will do any epics for the Ultimate line anytime soon? I don't know about anytime soon, but I can't imagine why they wouldn't. I mean, these things are...
Yeah.
I think
they will.
I don't know if David's still watching, but I remember the conversation where we suggested changing the Conan book to an epic line, and he just came out and said, not everything can be an epic collection.
I think he's walked back on that now, so yeah.
I think I still have that email between him and I should reply back to that email. What epic is going for the most? I have no idea. I don't keep up with that stuff. I'm sure the one that's been out of print the most and chances of it coming back to print slim to none. That's probably the one that's going to go for more. Things like, honestly, things like Kill Raven. I don't imagine Kill Raven once it goes out of print coming back, like being that high in demand to get that book back. Does the Annihilation Marvel Cosmic Run make sense to get into epic treatment? No, because
I mean, there's enough material for it.
Yeah, they're and they've been collected before, but not as epics.
Yeah.
Epics would be the lines that are kicked off by that series, like Nova or Guardians of the Galaxy. Those two lines, for example, because they continued with them. It's not like Annihilation continued. I mean, yes, the story continued, but it wasn't called Annihilation. After Annihilation, it became Annihilation Conquest and then War of the Kings. Does DC have a format similar to Epic Collections? They did for a while for some Bronze Age books, and then I noticed like some of their Rebirth lines had a volume number on the back, like that, like the volume numbers that you get. That's the beauty of these Epic Collections that I thought was so genius, was putting the volume number on the back of the books instead of on the spine. WCW Wrestling Epic line, please. One day.
Do you remember that? That was a short-lived Marvel series. They had wrestling characters.
I think I remember that. Did I miss any surprises? You did.
Should we talk about what the surprises are?
Yeah, just in case anybody's joining now. Spider-Girl Modern Era Epic Collection Volume 1 Legacy, coming out in March of 2024. Collecting What If 105, Spider-Girl 1 through 15, and the half issue, and then Spider-Girl Annual 99. And Captain America Modern Era Epic Collection Volume 1 Winter Soldier. So here's your answer where this starts. Collecting Captain America 1 through 17 and 65th Anniversary Special and Winter Soldier Director's Cut. Steve Epting cover there. And then New X-Men answering this question.
Do you remember the New X-Men Annual 2001? It's the one that was sideways. You open it like really
like that.
Yeah. Well, it was stapled. It was stapled on the short end, so you'd actually open it up like really, really wide. but they won't reprint it like that for sure. It'll open it like a gatefold. I mean, like a centerfold.
It's never been reprinted like that, right?
No.
Not in omnibus format or oversized hardcovers. Yeah. Why does everybody keep calling me Bromar? Can you see them doing character-centric epics, Bromar? Well, they are, right? They're doing that with Blade, or they've done it before with Black Widow. Black Widow didn't have an ongoing series, and they've done that with her,
Morbius.
and Morbius is the same way. More Daredevil, please. Well, Kurtis.
There's a lot of Daredevil.
There's a lot of Daredevil. And I haven't even announced the omnibus reprints. I'll do that when I get back. I'll put a list on Patreon of what's to come with empty slots because I love when people guess. Captain America should have started with the Marvels Project 1 through 8. That series has been left out of all of the Omnis, Ed Brubaker's Omnis, and they were really good. I really enjoyed it. It would be interesting to see DC use the compendium format as their epic format. Holy God, that's a lot of books. That's a lot of thick books.
But that might be better because DC has such a longer history that goes back way farther than Marvel. And so, like, packing in more issues per volume might be a nice thing.
And do you continue it with a volume 1 of Superman starting in the Golden Age, or do you replace him with Silver Age, and then whatever you consider the Bronze Age and Modern Age later on?
Yeah, I don't know. It probably
Kurtis,
changed the title.
Are you replacing your epics with when a reprint has new scans, thinking about upgrading X-Men The Gift if it uses the new Marvel Masterworks scans?
Yeah, I think I will. If it looks significantly better, then it's worthwhile in my opinion, for sure.
I think the way I've always told people, at the end of the day, it's you spend your money however you see fit. If you are a stickler for things like upgrading from Blu-ray to 4K, most people don't even notice, right? Like, yeah, it's still pretty, sure, whatever. But if you like those kind of things, then that's the reason to upgrade, really. Like, you'll notice the small scans. Excited for Spider-Girl. Hopefully they'll collect all 100. Well, I think with a new rebranding, it gives us, it gives us high hopes. Secret Avengers, no Omni, no Epic. Poor Brubaker. Yeah, and then who was it? Nick Spencer after he left? When is 3D Man getting his own Epic? Now we're getting into the hard questions. Do the new printings yellow as easily, bro, Curtis? Have you have people have problems with the Epics yellowing?
Yeah, absolutely. You're kidding, really? All of the stuff that was printed by Donnelly is all yellow. It yellowed quite a bit. I don't know if you can tell from my light there. All of the early epics.
I keep my book
see the color
difference out, man. I think I've had them so long that I don't even realize that they're yellowing.
Yeah, all of the old ones, they're all like that.
They haven't done.
They're all yellow. Look at that. The newer ones, the paper that and they yellowed pretty quick. Like within a year they were yellow. And so with the new company Solisco, it looks like that paper is not yellowing. It's holding its color. But I mean, all paper eventually is going to yellow, and it just depends on how long it takes.
What Thors are you holding up, Kurtis?
What Thors?
Yeah.
Thor 1, 2, and 3.
Okay, let me grab my books. This is something I didn't even notice. Dude, I'm serious. No. I didn't even notice this. Because I've had them in there for so long, and whenever I reread them, I'd reread them in omnibus format. So I'm looking at mine too. Yeah, you're right.
Yellow?
Well, they're yellower. I wouldn't say yellow. When I think of yellow, I think of like the comic book paper that went yellow.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's not as drastic as a comic from the 1940s. It's not newsprint, but it did definitely change color.
This is the Donnelly printer in America, not the Chinese. Donley printer. So once again, a low blow by Kurtis about how Canada is superior than America at making paper.
I didn't
Apparently,
say that. You are inferring all of that.
yes, I am. Oh, here we go. Is that a better word? It's not yellowing.
It's patina.
Nobody calls me yellow. Why? They added that retcon in Back to the Future too, because he never said it in the first one. Always bothered me, but I love that movie nonetheless. I just want one complete volume of Sam Alexander Nova, even if it's, I think it would take two, dude, right? Two. Yeah. I like that run. I like all of it. The Jeff Loeb and Nick Spencer, Zeb Wells and Dennis Hopeless one. Yeah. Not Dennis Hopeless. Yeah, Zeb Wells ended up finishing it. Anyone know if anything collects The Birth of Valeria? The complete collection is what you're looking at. Volume
complete
3.
collection.
Right, Kurtis?
Yeah.
Volume 3? Yeah.
I think it's
Fantastic Four Complete Collection. Heroes Return Complete Collection Volume 3 is what you're looking for.
That's right.
Kurtis, nice, not like some other people. Oh, yes. I've never met a bad Canadian. They're all good. If they yellow, wouldn't that make them closer to the original printing? This is also true.
Those colors have the people who don't like the garish colors because they're too vibrant or stuff. Now it looks a lot more like the original printing. Not quite that drastic. It's not quite that drastic.
They're not yellowing. They're aging gracefully. Now that is a wonderful way of looking at it. But I think that's it for us this time around. So you've got some new stuff coming out, and you've got all your wonderful reprints, with the exception of the Root of Evil. That's not in there. It's Avengers Volume 1, but
I'm sure it'll come. I'm sure it'll come later on in the year.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I've talked about how when I come back, we'll do a video like this with a new schedule, because like Kurtis says, they are reshuffling things around. So keep that in mind. Things we've already announced, you're probably going to be like, hey, where's this book? Kurtis and Omar said it was coming. It might be moved to later on in 2024. So I'll have a new schedule, and there are some new books, things to get excited about. That's all I can say. But that's it, everybody. Thank you all so much for watching. If you live in Europe, if you want these books and you want to pre-order them, check out Walt's Comic Shop. They're based out of Berlin, Germany, and they have the cheapest pre-order price for Omni's Epic Collections, and that is waltzcomicshop.com. And you put the code near mint condition, all one word, at the checkout. You get free shipping for all EU countries with your first order of over 40 euros or more. I can't sing. Not singing. I got to save my voice. Got a couple more videos to shoot, and then I got a lot of editing to do. I just, hey, Omar, you forgot Amazing Spider-Man Volume 6. Why does everybody keep asking for that?
Whoops.
Thank you all so much, seriously, for watching and for just being a big part of this community. And your voice is being heard. I love that. That's the best part about getting to announce these books, is that it makes a lot of people happy. Kurtis, where can people find you when you're not hanging out with me, buddy? And you might join me on Monday, right, when I do the October solicitations for Marvel?
I'll do my best to be there for sure.
Okay.
But otherwise, you can find me at epicmarvelpodcast.com. I mostly hang out at my Facebook Epic Collection Facebook group, so you can search for Epic Collections over there. Also on Instagram, Twitter, and all that. And I actually just started up a new Facebook group all about Eclipse Comics. If you like that comic publisher from the 80s, I've been kind of getting really into those comics.
Oh, dude. Okay, so you're the one that sent me an invite. Well, I'll join. I didn't know who. People ask me to join groups, and I'm like, I don't really get on Facebook much. But had I known it was you, then I would have, joined.
Well, there you go. It's perfect. Yeah, if you have an interest in those old comics that I love that publisher. I think they produce great stuff. I'm a little biased as well because I work with Dean Mulaney, and so I like hearing his stories about all of the all of the stuff going on with that publisher. So yeah, check it out. Search for Eclipse Comics on Facebook. It's a Facebook group.
And take this time again to thank everybody for joining us. And I will be back on Saturday. That's when I do my live stream every Saturday tomorrow until I take a break. And then, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So thank you all so much. Smash that like button on the way out. Much love, everybody.